Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time since I've sat just in front of the camera and done a sit-down video, and I saw Sarah Crowley do the mid-year book tag, so that is what we're going to be doing today. So I have the questions screenshotted, I have all the books out in the bed of the answers to the questions, and we're just going to go through them and I'll give you all my thoughts, opinions and all that on the books that I've read so far this year. So the first question is the best book you've read in 2025. I'm going to pause for dramatic effect because if you don't know me at all, this might come as a shock, but if you know me, this shouldn't come as a shock. So I'll give you 5 seconds to lock in your guesses on what the best book that I've read so far this year is. Obviously, are we surprised? Releasing 10 by Chloe Walsh. This book, I have not stopped thinking about it since. I am still in a book slump from it. It emotionally destroyed me, mentally destroyed me, physically destroyed me. Every way that a person could be destroyed, this book did it. Chloe Walsh, this is the most raw book of the Boys of Tommen series ever. I'll just give you a quick synopsis for people who haven't read The Boys of Tommen or don't know what the book is about. So, The Boys of Tommen, each set of books follows a different couple. So in the first two, we have Johnny and Shannon. In the second two, we have Joey and Aoife. In the third, well, they've only one book, but Gibbsy and Claire only have one book so far, which is Taming Seven. And then we have this book, which follows Hughie and Lizzie. This is set prior to what we have in the Boys of Tommen series. So the Boys of Tommen that we read in Binding and Keeping 13 is set in 2005. This book is the only book, I think, that has... No, Taming Seven does as well, sorry. Has flashbacks to childhood. But this book is solely in their childhood. There's nothing like of them from where we see them in the first 5 books of the Boys of Tommen series. There's none of that in this. This is up to where we are in the first Boys of Tommen book, if that makes sense. I'll put a timeline up here in the corner of what the Boys of Tommen timeline is, just so you can see it. So Lizzie Young is a very, very complicated character. She is diagnosed with early onset childhood bipolar. So that comes with its multitude of own issues, and her mother is also sick, and there is massive loss of her sister in this. And there's massive trauma, and Chloe has came out and said that this is the book that has most of her in it. And then we have Hughie, who is Claire's older brother. He is very protective of his friends, of his family, of his people. He is beyond his years mentally for what he should be. That's the one thing I've noticed is what's going around about this book is that they are meant to be 5 and 6 year olds in this book, and like from 5 up to I think it's 14 or 15, maybe a bit older, and they don't talk like that and they don't act like a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old is typically supposed to act. They are very mature for their age in it. And I found it was easiest to just picture them not as kids and picture them as their nearly adult, like 18-year-old selves, to make it seem easier to take, I would say, because like it's hard to see 5 and 6-year-olds having these really grown-up conversations. I don't remember having these conversations as 5 and 6-year-olds, but this is heartbreaking. It's a heartbreaking story. Chloe Walsh, I love how I say Chloe as if I know her personally. My boyfriend always laughs because I call her Chloe instead of Chloe Walsh for some reason, as if we have that relationship. We obviously don't. But this book really destroyed me. I'm still in a slump from it. What date is it today? It's a month since this released, and no book has stuck with me since. I've been in a slump. A lot of the books I've read since, I feel, have been affected because of it, but you need to read it if you haven't. I tabbed, this was my first annotation ever, and all the tabs. I love it. I love all the tabs. And I'm actually going to be doing a Boys of Tommen full reread and full annotation vlog, so stay around for that. So that is the first question answered, the best book you've read in 2025. I've been rambling on about this book for nearly 5 minutes, and I will continue to ramble on if I don't stop myself. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. It's the best book I've read this year thus far. The next one is the best sequel you've read so far this year. I found this a hard question because I don't know what technically classes a sequel. Does a sequel class as like the next in the series? So that's just what I went with, and like the next book in a series that I read and I really loved, which would be Onyx Storm, the third book in the Empyrean series. I loved this book. It made me cry, it made me laugh, it made me happy, it made me feel all of the things, and the ending is just WTF. Why? Like loads of people have said, and I do kind of agree that this was a filler book. We know that the Empyrean series is going to be a 5-book series, so it is only logical that like the third book in the series would be a filler. I didn't feel that. I felt like the plot was moved along in a way, because the ending really does move the plot along to what's going to come in the next book. But I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. Personally, for me, it was brilliant. I could not fault it in any way. I think it was perfect. If it is a filler book, it was perfect for what the purpose of it was. So that's my thoughts on Onyx Storm. It is the best sequel I've read this year. The next question is, new release you haven't read yet but want to. This release was so anticipated for me. It actually came out later in Ireland than it did anywhere else, because every week, because I travel a lot for work, so I go to a lot of different towns, so I always check every bookstore in town just to see, and I kept checking for this book and there was no sign of it anywhere up until, was it last week, me and my boyfriend went shopping and I said, you know what, I'll just chance going into Eason's and see. And the chance paid off. My Friends by Frederick Bachman. I'm really excited. Frederick Bachman is a new author that's kind of come along for me and like has really grabbed me. I never thought I'd be a literary fiction person, but I have read Anxious People and Beartown. With Anxious People, I found that I went into it being like, yeah, this is okay, this is good, and as the plot was going along, I was like, I'm getting really bored. And then he throws stuff in and you're like, oh my god. And then it's like the deeper meaning of everything comes out and it's like, you're so shocked. The same in Beartown. I loved Beartown, bawled my eyes out. But we'll move on to that in a minute. So, My Friends, I'm just going to read the synopsis because I don't know exactly what this is about. I think this is about, we get the past timeline and the present timeline. So there's this woman in an art gallery viewing this portrait, this picture of these 3 friends. But when we look back and you go back into the past timelines, it shows the story of the 3 friends, I think. So it says, in the corner of one of the most famous paintings in the world, 3 tiny figures sit at the end of a pier. Most people don't even notice them. Most people think it's just a deception of the sea. But Louisa, an aspiring artist herself, knows otherwise. 25 years earlier, in a distant seaside town, a group of teenagers seek refuge from their bruising home lives by spending long summer days together. They tell jokes, they share secrets, and they commit small acts of rebellion. These lost souls find in each other a reason to get up each morning, a reason to dream, a reason to love. Out of the summer emerges a transcendence work of art, a painting that will unexpectedly be placed into 18-year-old Louisa's care. Determined to learn how it came to be and to decide what to do with it, Louisa embarks on a cross-country journey. But the closer she gets to the painting's birthplace, the more nervous she becomes. In this stunning testament to the transformative, timeless power of friendship and art, Louisa is proof that happy endings don't always take the form we expect. That says enough. I'm so excited for this. It is probably going to be one of the next books I pick up because I'm currently reading Air of Fire and Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston, and once I finish those, I'm going straight into this, I think. And perfect. It's set in the summer. So that's perfect for the season that we're in. So yeah, that's a book that I haven't picked up yet, but I want to. The next one is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I actually had to have a think about this because I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember. I know I'd made a list of all the books coming out at the end of the year, but I couldn't remember exactly what books were coming out, if that makes sense. So the one I am most excited for is Wildcard by Elsie Silver. Comes out on September 9th. It is the fourth book. I don't know is it the final, but it's definitely the fourth book in the Rosehill Ranch series, which is a series of all single dads. I still have yet to read Wildside, but I'm hoping to read it obviously before Wildcard comes out in September. That and Revolve by Bal Cabra. I'm very excited that it's the third book in the... I can't remember what the name of the series is, but the first one is Collide, the second one is Spiral, and the third one is Revolve. I'm actually lucky enough to have received it from NetGalley. I already have it on my Kindle. I haven't read it yet, but I have it on my Kindle. But I'm so excited for it to come out so I can get my copy of it because her covers are so stunning. And yeah, that's my other one that I'm really, really excited for. The next one is Biggest Surprise. And I was about to say, this actually surprised me, but that's the whole point. But I read my first Abby Jimenez book at the start of the year. Or did I read it? No, I read this one first. I actually read this one. This was my first Abby Jimenez book of this year. I read the Happily Ever After playlist, and I didn't really enjoy that. I thought it was very lackluster. I was quite bored. But I went in to Say You'll Remember Me because I got it as an ARC. I was lucky enough to be one of the people that got it from NetGalley. So I read it at the start of the year. And it so surprised me. I was bawling my eyes out. Books with grief are recently books that I've loved, which I didn't think I would, but as someone, I think I've probably said this to death now, but kind of ironic that I said it to death, but I lost 2 grandparents in the space of a year. My nan's anniversary is coming up. She'll have passed away a year ago next month. And I think I picked this up at the perfect time. I was really, really struggling with the topic of grief because I was fortunate enough to not have to deal with grief until I was in my mid-20s, which is amazing that I had my grandparents for as long as I did, but it made it so much harder, I think, because I understood more what the ramifications of that all followed. I'm not going to bore you too much about that because I'll keep going on about it, but there is the topic of grief in this book, so I would check up trigger warnings if it's something that you cannot deal with. So in this book we follow Xavier and Samantha. They meet each other when she brings a stray animal into the vet's that he owns, and they decide to go on a date, and she kind of lays out like, okay, we're going on a date, but I'm moving across the country tomorrow, so forget about me after this one date. But their one date is so good that they can't forget about each other. I loved it, but I've seen kind of the narrative going around. I saw, was it Destiny was talking about it, that she felt like Xavier made all of the effort in the relationship. He did all the traveling, he was working so hard, and obviously Samantha has her own stuff going on. There's a lot going on between her sick mother and looking after her grandmother and having to work remotely and then having to find a new job. Like, all of the things are coming for her, but I do agree with it that it did feel like he was making a lot more effort for the relationship, but I feel like Samantha had so much stuff going on in her life. It was hard for her to be able to prioritise the relationship at that time. But yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed it. I could not recommend it enough. It is one of the most beautifully written books, I think. The only thing that does give me a bit of the ick is the reference to Reese, which is referenced more than once. But other than that, I really, really enjoyed it. I had to go buy a physical copy straight away, and I am going to go through it and annotate all the quotes that I highlighted on my Kindle because it's just fabulous. Enough about that. Next is favourite author debut or new to you. So this book, The Nightingale by Kirsten Hanna, this was actually a recommendation for a video I posted, reading my bestie's God tier books. I'm trying to remember who recommended this. I think it was Becca. And I, again, similar to Frederick Bachman, this book, you, like, go into it, like, I think I was on, like, the 100-page mark, maybe a bit further, and I was like, is this going anywhere? Am I really going to enjoy it? I love history. I'm a history nerd. But I think because at the start of my reading journey, I binged so much true World War II books, I find it very hard to be in that fictional setting of World War II, if that makes sense. But again, someone told me to push through, so I did, and I'm so thankful that I did push through, because this ended up being a 4-star book for me. I didn't think it could turn around, because it was looking like a 2.5 or a 3, and I didn't think it could turn around, and it did, to the point where I was bawling my eyes out at the end. So it was very, very surprising to me. I actually have 1 or 2 more of her books that I am really excited to get to now because of the way that this ended. But yeah, she's a new author to me, and I'm very excited to read more from her. The next one is Newest Fictional Crush. I'm probably going to get hate when I say this, but Hugh Biggs is my newest fictional crush. And I'm not talking about Hugh Biggs as a child. I know they are teenagers, but I just think it's more his characteristics as a person, I think, that I find more crush-worthy. Like the stuff he does, the actions, as opposed to who he's imagined as. So, like, you know, when he grows up to be the same age, let's say, as I am, 26, that those traits will stay the same, like being just and being right and caring about people so much. I think that has me having such a huge crush on him, because he is just a gentleman. That's the only way I can describe him. But yes, he's my new fictional crush, because I was a Hughie hater before these books. Before this book, before Releasing 10, I hated him. Never thought I'd enjoy him as a character. Never thought he was really that good to anyone. And then when you see it in his perspective, it just changes it completely. It did for me anyway. The next is a book that made you cry. So many books have made me cry this year. And I was going to do Releasing 10, but I'm trying to keep it different for every question, just so I'm not repeating myself. If I was going to be really, really honest, it would be Releasing 10. But the next one after that is Beartown by Frederick Bachman. Who thought I'd care about a hockey town? But I care so deeply about these characters. You get to know them so well. It's set in a hockey town called Beartown. And Beartown is kind of failing as a town because there's kind of no tourism. There's barely any industry. And the hope is that when the Beartown hockey team, the juniors team, I think? I can't remember what like category they're in. I think it's juniors. When the juniors win, that it'll attract a load of businesses and they'll build a new stadium inside Beartown, which will bring more people and the town will flourish. But then this massive thing happens to one of our main characters, and one of the characters in the hockey team is involved, but everyone is involved because it's such a small town. And I think the only reason I relate to it so much is because I'm from a small town, and I could see this happening in a small town in Ireland. I could see something similar, a similar traumatic event like this happening, and I could see a town dealing with it the way that this town dealt with it. It's very much two sides. You're split down the middle. What side is best? The side that's best for the town, but not the best for the people that were involved and the people that were hurt, or justice is what's needed, and that is what is right for the person that has been injured to get justice. And that means sacrificing all the stuff that comes with it. So there's very much two sides in the town. The way it ends, you see it's a very divided town. on what's right, what's wrong. And like the lines are blurred of what's right and what's wrong. But you get snippets of every character, you get to see every angle of what they are like, everything. He doesn't leave a stone unturned. Frederick Bachman doesn't. So Beartown was brilliant. I think it was either a 4-star, 4.5 star for me, and I'm really, really excited for the next 2 in the series as well, because I just can't wait to be back in the world of Beartown. A book that made me happy. I don't have the physical book yet, but Riding the High by Paisley Hope. It's the 3rd book in the Silver Pines series, I want to say right now. Yes, Silver Pines Ranch. It's the 3rd book in the series, and it follows Cole and Ginger. And the only way I can describe it is Cole and Ginger are the Cade and Willa kind of the series. He's a bit older, he's a single dad, he's just became the sheriff of the town, but the one thing that's different between Ginger and Cole compared to Cade and Willa is that Ginger and Cole have a lot of history and they know each other a long time. They're constantly known as the people that hate each other, they're the wild cards, they're the 2 people that have like not settled down in life and everyone else is kind of settling down around them, and they hate each other, but do they really? So that's kind of the gist of it. It's very, very good. It made me so happy, and it's definitely my favourite in the Silver Pine series so far. The next is The Most Beautiful Book You've Brought This Year or Received, and hands down it has to go to The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. This book cover is stunning. Emmy really outdid herself. Jessa Hastings' best friend Emmy designed all the original covers of the Magnolia Park series, the ones that I personally think are the best, and they're gorgeous. So she designed this also. And look, we're not going to go into too much about it, but it's absolutely stunning. If I would ever buy a book based on a cover alone, this. It's stunning. The next is what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And that is none other than the other 2 books in the Beartown series. So we have Us Against You and The Winners. I would not have read this series only for Sarah Crowley talking about it so much and how much she loved it. And she's now, it's like I feel like she's given the series to me. So like she gave Magnolia Parks to me when she talked about how much she loved it, so I read it because of her, and now she's given me another amazing series to binge, and it's just so nice when you see other creators binging these books and you end up loving them also just as much as they do. So I'm very, very excited. I've gotten the new covers. It's actually kind of annoying. So I have the new covers for The Winners and for Beartown, but I found Us Against You in a charity shop. And I just picked it up because I hadn't read Beartown at the time and I wasn't sure if I was going to love it or not. And I ended up loving it. So I need to buy the new version of Us Against You so that all my covers match. But yeah, they're books I need to read by the end of this year and hold me accountable. How many 5 stars this year? That's something I actually didn't look up. We're going to look it up in real time. I'm going to go on to Storygraph because it just helps you break it down a lot easier and it'll tell you exactly how many 5 stars you had. So how many 5 stars? I have had 4 5 stars this year. I feel like I've had a lot more. 4 5 stars. That's good. I need more though. This is actually the first year, I think, because I'm valuing quality over quantity, I'm having a lot of better read books. So like, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like my rating overall last year was a bit sporadic because I was just throwing out 5 stars to like, not subpar books, but books looking back on it that I wouldn't rate 5 stars now. This year I've been actually very harsh and I feel like I'm rating books more in the 3 to 4 range and holding the 5 stars for books that I cannot stop thinking about. They have ingrained on a piece of me and that's, it. So the 4 or 5 stars I've had this year. 1 is Onyx Storm, which I already said. The 2nd is Fearless, which is the 3rd in the Powerless trilogy. The 3rd is Releasing 10. I was surprised. I'd give it 6 stars if I could. And then the last was actually my first 5-star of the year, which was A Court of Silver Flames. If you know, you know. I love Nesta. Where is she? She's tattooed on my arm. Her ataraxia. That's a book that absolutely changed my life. I loved it. So I've had 4 or 5 stars. Hopefully we'll have more by the end of the year. But I'm happy with the 4 that are on the list at the moment. The next is, what books do you want to reread this year? So I want to reread The Boys of Tommen. In an ideal world, I'd love to reread The Magnolia Parks, but I feel like The Boys of Tommen is such a big series and I want to take my time rereading it. I think they're the only... I think I'm just going to put Boys of Tommen as my main books to reread this year, because I want to do the whole rereading and annotating because of releasing 10. So that's the only series I'm going to put down. But obviously, in an ideal world, I would like to reread Magnolia Parks and annotate that also. But mainly, The Boys of Tommen is the series I'm prioritising rereading. What a book you enjoyed with mixed reviews? Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I feel like people either loved it or hated it. I loved it. I personally had a great time. I loved it, and I finished it the day that I got to go see Lauren Roberts in Conversations with Easons, and I was lucky enough to get an Easons edition with exclusive content, so it has an exclusive chapter that the normal books don't have, and it was signed obviously by Lauren Roberts, and I really enjoyed it. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to try to justify my loving of it. If you loved it, great. If you didn't, great. It's completely subjective, or objective is the word. You are entitled to like it or not like it. It's up to yourself. But I personally really enjoy it. And then the last question is 5-star predictions for the rest of the year. So I have 4 books here that I think are going to be 5 stars for me. I'm hoping. My Friends by Frederick Bachman is one I think will be a 5-star. The next one is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. So many people, I think this is a book you either love or you hate. People seem to be shocked at. I love the concept, the idea of the concept of this book. It's 2 authors trying to get the rights to write this really affluent woman's story. Margaret Ives, she's like an heiress. She's an heiress and lives on this island. She invites the 2 of them out, but she only gives certain parts of the story to each person, and they can't share it, and they need to kind of deduce and make the story fit themselves with the pieces that they're given. And obviously our 2 main characters, I'm assuming, have a bit of a romance. Because Emily Henry, and I think Destiny said it perfectly, Emily Henry's books are literary fiction with a subplot of romance. I would have always thought her books were romance until Destiny said that, and I was like, it clicked. It is. Like, her books are literary fiction focused, and then you get snippets of romance, but the snippets you get of the romance are brilliant. So I'm very excited. I do think it'll be a 5-star for me, I hope. And Funny Story also. I have Funny Story in my bag at the moment because I'm about to start it, so I think that may also be a 5-star for me. Next is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm so excited for this. All her books that are set in like the 80s, I love, like Daisy Jones and the Six, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Malibu Rising, Carrie Soto is Back. All of them are chef's kiss. They are brilliant books. And they all kind of, like, you get snippets of each person, like, of people in each of those books. I don't know about this, but I'll just read the synopsis for you. It says, in the summer of 1980, astrophysics professor Joan Goodwin begins training to be an astronaut at Houston's Johnson Space Center alongside an exceptional group of fellow candidates, Top Gun pilot Hank Redmond, mission specialist John Griffin, and mission specialist John Griffin and Lydia Danes, warm-hearted Donna Fitzgerald and Vanessa Ford, the magnetic and mysterious aeronautical engineer. As the new astronauts prepare for their first flight, Joan finds a passion and a love she's never imagined and begins to question everything she believes about her place in the observable universe. Then, in December of 1984, on mission STS-LR9, everything changes in an instant. Oh, I'm just so excited to read it. I love her writing so much. And this looks quite short. Wait, now I'll tell you, I'm trying not to see any spoilers. 332 pages. That's nothing. You could read that. I could personally read that in one sitting. But I'm hoping to savor it. And this cover, guys, it's absolutely beautiful. So yeah, that's 5-star, another 5-star prediction. Next is Queen of Shadows, which is the next book in the Throne of Glass series that I have to read. I am currently, I think I have 150 pages left in Air of Fire. The way it's going at the moment, it's a 4-star, maybe a 4.5. It won't be a 5-star. But I hope and pray this might be. Because after this, it's the tandem read, I think. I think I'm into the tandem read after this one. And I just want the later books to be, I want it to be a 5-star. The pieces are starting to fall into place for me a little bit, I think. But I'm hoping this is a 5-star. All the books have been a 4 so far, so I'm hoping to get a 5. And then last, but certainly not least, is, sorry, my bookmark fell out, Wildside by Elsie Silver. This is the 3rd book in the Rose Hill Ranch series. This follows Reese and, what is her name? It begins with a T. And her name isn't written there. Is it dual POV so I can maybe see her name somewhere? Yes, Tabitha and Reese. And some people say Reese looks like this one WWE wrestler. I'm going to try find a picture and put it there if you can see it. But I'm just really excited. I'm really, really excited. And the one thing I love about this single dad series that Elsie Silver is doing is that all these single dads are not becoming single dads in the typical way that you think that they will. Like that they've had a previous relationship that has broken down and they've had a kid through that. Only one so far has been that, as far as I know. The first one in the series isn't like that. He becomes a single dad in a very unconventional way. And this fella becomes a dad in a very unconventional way as well. So they're all my 5-star predictions for the rest of the year. I'm hopefully I'll have more, but they are the main ones I hope to be 5 stars for me. So that is my mid-year book tag done. I hope you enjoyed. I will leave the questions below, and if you happen to do a video with questions, then let me know and